Hey guys, welcome to Cape and Cowl Cafe. I'm Nemo, and today we're going to be going over your guys' DC hot takes. If you guys enjoy the video at any point today, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button, but let's hop right in. That's right, I'm doing another hot takes video. I know I've been milking the concept, but you guys seem to love them, so who am I to deny the people what they want?
Give the people what they want!
Let's get started. Alright, first take of the day. Not like 42210 says, they need to start putting more attention on theatrical animated movies, like that Batman Beyond movie they rejected. Duh, obviously. And, honestly, I will never forgive the individual who chose to reject the Batman Beyond movie. They just don't want the money. And that is why DC Warner Brothers had to sell themselves to Netflix, because they keep making dumbass decisions like this. It is just ridiculous. And honestly, I think we should just do away with the DCU, start fresh again, but replace live action movies with an entirely animated universe. Like, animation is just a better medium anyway, and imagine a whole line of DC movies with the same budget and animation quality as Into the Spider-Verse. Yes, please, I'll take one of those.
We'll take 20.
I swear, it's like the executives at Warner Brothers have a financial dominatrix kink, and they just keep throwing money away. It is just so ridiculous. Alright, next up, Griffin Horner says, Green Lantern is so unbelievably disrespected in the mainstream all because of his movie, and I'm so tired of it. Honestly, I'm tired of it too. That movie came out like 14 years ago. It's time we move on, okay? Yeah, it was a bad movie, but plenty of other superheroes have terrible movies. And if you ask me, I think that the only people that hate on characters like that, to this degree, are people that know nothing about the character, Real Green Lantern fans have already moved on from that movie. But just, casual fans that just love to hate on everything. They're like, oh, Green Lantern was garbage. I hate Green Lantern. He's so lame. Like, move on, Like, the Lantern show looks interesting, kind of. I'm a little worried, but I will give it a shot because I'm not just a blind hater. All right, next up we have, it looks like somebody doesn't want Cyborg in the Justice League. And I agree. Cyborg is just way too closely tied to the Teen Titans, and you're going to confuse people about, the ages of these characters if you keep having him flip-flop between the Justice League and the Titans. And I don't care if he joins the Justice League later, if some of the Titans graduate and they join the League, but Cyborg should never start in the Justice League like he did in the Snyderverse or the New 52. It doesn't really make sense to me. I don't like that change. I know some people do, but personal preference, I guess. Whenever Cyborg is in the Titans, he usually has this outgoing, lively personality, and he's just like the life of the party. He's a super fun guy, hanging out with Beast Boy, but, whenever he's in the Justice League, they just strip whatever personality he had from him, and he just becomes boring. Like, in the New 52, that guy did not have a personality. He was just so boring. And then the Snyderverse gave us the weakest booyah ever.
Booyah! 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 Booyah!
Alright, next up, Connor Clifford Film says, Jessica Cruz Green Lantern is one of the most criminally slept on Green Lanterns and embodies the overcoming fear better than any of the other Earth Green Lanterns. Yeah, I think I agree with this. Like you said, the interesting thing about Jessica Cruz is she didn't start out being able to overcome her weaknesses. She kind of had to work at it, and I don't know, that usually works better for a superhero story. Like with Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, the Ring chose them. The Ring desired them beforehand because it was like, oh, Hal Jordan of Earth, Sector 2814, you have the ability to overcome great fear. It's like they were already at the point where the Ring wanted them, but Jessica Cruz had to work at it. I think that's more interesting, better storytelling, but that's just me. Moving on. All right, next up, Chams A Can't Draw says, not really a hot take, but Bale's voice for Batman was decent enough in Begins, but I think the later films in the trilogy would have benefited from giving his version of Bats the voice changer, like Batfleck, which would have easily fit into Nolan's grounded and realistic tone. Now, on this issue, I think you either have the Batman voice or you don't. I don't like Christian Bale's Batman voice. I think it is way too gravelly, and it sounds like he's sick and there's something stuck in his throat.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
And I think the voice changer is also lame because it feels like Batman's compensating,
Breathe it in. That's fear. You're not brave. Men are brave.
Either you have the gruff Batman voice or you don't. And if you have to fake it, you're not really Batman, are you?
It's just gonna hurt. And I'm gonna enjoy it. Enough! It's over!
Bring it, Skeletor.
Alright, next up, Karumi YT says, the New 52 isn't as bad as people say. It is debatably one of the best starting points for new readers, and for me personally, I started there and it sparked my enthusiasm of comics. I think I agree with this. The New 52 came out just as I was starting middle school, and it's really where I started reading comics too. Of course, I read some stuff from the previous continuity, and I was reading other things, but like New 52 Batman, New 52 Justice League Flash, like that's where I really got into comic books. And it was a perfect jumping off point for me. I don't like all of the things that it changes about the previous continuity. It does ruin a few things, but you know, honestly, anything that makes comic books more accessible to the general public, I think is a good thing, you know? It wasn't perfect. There were definitely flaws with it, but it wasn't the worst thing that's ever happened to comic books, you know? Definitely a better reboot than One More Day. Maybe I'll talk about that later. Alright, next up, I just wanted to shout out my buddy Notorious, and he wants to share with you his take about Martian Manhunter. He is probably the biggest Martian Manhunter fan I have ever met. Take it away, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you putting me on, Emo. My only hot take is that we need a Martian Manhunter movie right now, especially with everything going on. He has so many origins, we could truly just pick one, but I think his most heartbreaking one is the one that his planet gets destroyed by hate. And despite having so many parallels to Superman, one thing that puts him apart is despite being one of the most powerful people in DC history, he was so powerless to prevent the tragedy that happened to his people, his race, and his culture. And the fact that he moves on and continues to be a person that aims for a better tomorrow is just amazing and beautiful. And that's the type of movie we need right now.
Alright, next up, Nightwing by Tom Taylor is the best DC comic we've gotten in the past 5 years, excluding Absolute. I actually read the entire run recently over Christmas, and I enjoyed it a lot. I do have a few issues with it, but I do like how it paints Nightwing as a brighter version of Batman. You know, they really put emphasis on like, this is what Batman was supposed to be. But I think they lean a little too far into the happy-go-lucky, you know, brightness of the story, and you know, Nightwing loses a little bit of his darkness, and he feels a lot like Spider-Man sometimes. I did like how involved a lot of the other characters in the DC universe were, especially Wally West and Superboy. They were super fun to see interacting with Nightwing, but some of the villains, they just didn't really land for me. I mean, Heartless was kind of cool, but very one note. He was just a basic psychopath. And then Blockbuster, straight Kingpin ripoff. Like, every time he said, like,
This city is mine. I own this city. I am this city.
I'm like, okay, Wilson Fisk, shut up, all right. Like, I know that over time he has undergone some changes, but in this story specifically, he was just the Kingpin, you know? I think the best thing about this run had to be the art. I mean, you had issues that were like a huge one-shot scene where the pages followed Nightwing, you know, jumping across rooftops and in the street, and it was like one huge splash page, and then you just had like a bunch of different Nightwings drawn out. I'll show a picture right here. It's kind of hard to explain, but it was really cool. And then you have like a first-person view scene where Nightwing and Batgirl are heading out for a mission, and you get to see, you know, the world from his perspective as he's jumping out of windows, he's flipping around everywhere. It's really cool stuff. So I would say that it's definitely one of the better runs in the past 5 years, but it's not the best. It was just a little too lovey-dovey and cliche for my taste. Okay, next up, Silent Freeway 74 says, Batman killing the Joker would be a win for the Joker. That's like Joker's goal in all of my favorite versions of him. Yeah, I agree with this, and this is one of the many reasons why Batman should not kill. Because if you read any story that has Joker where he's, you know, written well, he doesn't care about who Batman is, he doesn't care about power or money, he cares about breaking Batman, getting him to cross the line and just destroying him. Now, a perfect example of this would have to be the Batman failsafe story. In the story, Batman is struggling with an alternate personality that he created for emergencies called Batman Zur-En-Arrh. Now, Zur-En-Arrh is a backup personality that is stripped of anything Bruce Wayne. The personality is all Batman, all mission, and ultimately, Batman Zur-En-Arrh is more willing to kill than Bruce is. And Joker finds out about this backup personality, and he realizes that the only way that he's going to get Batman to cross the line, break his one rule, is to bring out this alternate personality and get him to kill the Joker. That way, Joker would win and Batman would lose. Now, this is just a small part of the whole story, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone who still wants to go experience it. It's Chip Zdarsky's Batman run. Go check it out. It is really good. Okay, next take. Arkham fan Q3G says, Superman should be a symbol of hope, like he's the type of guy that would help you get your cat out of a tree. No problem is too small for him. I don't know if this is really a hot take. I mean, I just picked it because I wanted to talk about it, but, you know, this is when Superman is at his best, when he is just the bright blue Boy Scout, goody two-shoes. I don't care if people think it's boring. He's pure hope incarnate. He's Superman, you know? Like, he will save anyone and anything. And yes, Snyder fans, even the squirrel. Alright, next up. Wonder Woman really deserves better writers and adaptations because the only mainstream Wonder Woman we have is Injustice and Gal Gadot. Also, love your videos, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, I definitely agree with this. It has just been so sad to see the neglect that this character has been experiencing. I mean, I see all of these Mount Rushmore videos all the time, and a lot of people don't have her on there, which, like, everyone has their opinion, that's fine. But I think she definitely deserves to be there, but I also kind of understand it, you know? She should be more popular, but she's not. And the only real mainstream adaptations we have are, you know, Wonder Woman, the simp who was just, you know, following around Super Stalin doing whatever he wanted in Injustice, which just a complete character assassination. And then we have Gal Gadot, and we all know why she's not very good.
Max Lord, you're putting yourself and everyone else in grave danger. I need you to give me the stone. What happened to it?
Oh, and they canceled her game. Yet another terrible financial decision from WB. I swear, I feel like they like flushing money down the toilet. All right, next up, Bois. That's a good one. They say, what does Aquaman actually do? Fish guy isn't so powerful until it's a very specific fish-themed story. Until recently, all the other people from Atlantis seem much more powerful, and the Justice League doesn't need him. I think somebody needs to go read Aquaman's issue of DCKO. He's basically a water god now. He's kinda crazy. Alright, next up. All-Star Batman is the best modern Batman story, and Batman should kill. Now, this better be rage bait, because if it's not, I am going... Oh, it is. Okay. Never mind. Have a wonderful day. Alright guys, that's going to be about it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it all, I'd really appreciate if you hit that like and subscribe button, and drop in the comments down below your DC hot takes. They might be featured in a part 2. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys later.